Well, a question, and it must be asked before you do anything at all. When you say, I am anxious, where is the I you are naming? Where do you place it? In the chest where something pounds? In the head where thoughts run in circles? In the pulse that beats? In the breath that shortens? Is that where the I is? No, no. Sensation is not self. Thought is not self. The witness of sensation is prior to the sensation. The one noticing the racing heart is not the heart. The one noticing the chattering mind is not the mind. When I say I, how are you going to localize that? Now, where am I? Am I here? Am I there? Am I somehow trapped in a rib cage? No, no. I am not in the physical. This is the doorway, and it opens with the slightest pressure of truth. You can't leave the body because you aren't in it, and you never have been in it. No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. You have found organs, cells, nerves. You have never found the eye that beholds. The Scripture whispers the same secret and has never ceased, absent from the body, present with the Lord. In him we live and move and have our being, and again, be still and know that I am God. If the knowing can behold the heartbeat, the knowing is not the heartbeat. If the eye can notice the wave of fear, the eye is not the fear. You are more subtle than chemistry, more spacious than breath. The true I is the life of God being itself as your awareness, and it has never been in or under or at the mercy of material conditions. Why is this question urgent? Because before you react, you must know who is about to react. If the body reacts, it will strike or flee. It will send the word that cannot be taken back. It will purchase, avoid, defend, accuse. But if the I that is absent from the body and present with the Lord abides as witness, action will not be reaction. It will be peace in motion. It is I, be not afraid. The Master speaks there, and he does not speak to cells. He speaks to awareness. He speaks to you. Let us be clear and morally honest. There is one God. There is no second power running this universe on the rails of panic. Thou shalt have no other gods before me means thou shalt not enthrone anxiety as an authority. Perfect love casteth out fear, not by argument, not by will, but by presence. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, nothing real can threaten, and nothing unreal need be feared. So we set our intention now, before any reply, before any decision, before any step, we will return in these moments to God awareness, and we will let all doing be born from being. In a few breaths, we will enter a simple 3-minute practice, first to negate the false claim, then to rest in silent receptivity, then to seal in a living word. But even before we begin, let the heart say softly, without strain, as a password into stillness, Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. God is the actor, and I am merely the instrument. I and my Father are one, and from that oneness, presence chooses, panic does not. Now let us be precise and merciful with ourselves. Anxiety arrives as a suggestion. It is a voice at the door, not the owner of the house. A weather pattern across the sky, not the sky. The eye that beholds is not the cloud. The eye that witnesses is not the murmur. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Asked the voice in the garden. Who told you that you were anxious? A suggestion told you. The eye did not. The eye is absent from the body and present with the Lord. Therefore, the eye is never at the mercy of suggestions that blow through nerves or screens or calendars. No, no. The true eye is not in the physical. It notices the ripple, and by noticing it, proves it is other than it. Fear has two chief tactics. It seeks personalization and it seeks speed. It wants your name and your clock. It wants to be my anxiety, and it wants you to do something now. Refuse both. Do not adopt it with pronouns. Do not anoint it with haste. Scripture has already given you the remedy. He that believeth shall not make haste. Let the suggestion knock, but do not answer as if it were you. Let the wind press at the window, but do not run the house out to meet it. Anxiety says, hurry or else. Spirit says, be still and know that I am God. Between those two voices, choose stillness, not by will, but by non-consent. This is where categorical negation serves you as obedience to a higher law. We do not fight anxiety, resist not evil, says the Master, because resistance enthrones a second power. We quietly remove what it craves, place, power, and law. We say within, without drama. There is no place for anxiety in God. There is no power to anxiety in God. There is no law sustaining anxiety in God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me denies it jurisdiction. As in mathematics, 2 times 2 is 4, and no pleading, no panic can make it 5. So in spirit, 1, God is the law, and no fear, no rumor can make a second power real. If you attribute cause to anxiety, you break the commandment and you pay the penalty of your own attribution. If you withdraw cause, the shadow has nothing to cast. What then is the baseline to which you return? My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Peace is given, not manufactured. In my oneness with God, I find security. In my oneness with God, I find sufficiency. In my oneness with God, I find the rhythm that will carry the next word and the next step. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, harmony is the nature of the I, and disturbance is a suggestion about the I. The branch does not create sap, it abides and life flows. So do not create peace, abide in it. And how is this realized? Not as a theory, but as a breath you can feel. By 3 minutes of sacred refusal and sacred receiving. First minute, you will negate without struggle. Second minute, you will wait without will for the click of union. Third minute, you will rest the mind in a living word. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, not my adrenaline, not my analysis. Thy grace. Then watch as suggestion loses its costume and stands revealed as empty. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. I and my Father are one, and in that oneness the only haste is the haste to be still. Now let us take the Scripture at its word and refuse to sentimentalize it, absent from the body, present with the Lord, not as a slogan, not as a hope, but as a fact of identity. You cannot be absent from that in which you never were. No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. Open them all, study every nerve, weigh the brain itself, and you will find tissue and pattern, but not the eye that beholds. No. The witness is not found among what it witnesses. In him we live and move and have our being, which is to say, the I is not contained in matter. Matter appears in the field of the I that is God aware. Think of a mirror and the sun. The mirror throws light across the room, but the mirror is not the source of light. The mirror cracks. The light pattern changes. The sun is untouched. So it is with the body. The body is an instrument and an image, a reflector of a greater radiance. Clean the mirror if you wish, feed it, rest it, wash it, but never mistake polish for power. The life that animates is not resident in the glass. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. And as that oneness dawns, the image shows forth order. If the image ripples, Do not attack the mirror. Return to the sun. I and my Father are one. Remove false centers. Do not enthrone a heart rate as a god. Do not kneel to a breath cycle as a god. Do not crown the headlines as a god. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. When you seek your peace on any of these, you prepare your own overthrow, for images fluctuate. But the eye that witnesses is not the fluctuation. Presence is not a room you enter. It is the eye that notices rooms. It is the same eye that notices airports and kitchens and sick rooms and dawns. It is never inside those appear in it. Be still and know that I am God. Notice it does not say be busy and try to be God. It says know. Knowing is of the witness, not of the pulse. I speak this guarding you from curiosity that tries to move consciousness about like a chess piece. I have studiously avoided mental or physical projection, and I hope you will never try to do it. We do not go anywhere. We realize everywhere. In realization, the letter arrives. At the moment you turned, the fear stopped. Though we were continents apart, I did not travel. God was the actor and the doer and the beer. I was merely the instrument of knowing that one presence fills all space, because it is not in space. What follows? Security follows. Not because the mirror cannot crack, but because the sun is not in danger. In my oneness with God, I find security. In my oneness with God, I find sufficiency. In my oneness with God, I find peace that is not at the mercy of nerves or news. When the body calls, be kind. When the world shouts, be courteous. But do not relocate the throne. The eye remains where it has ever been unconfined, God-aware, quietly radiant. And in that realization, anxiety is a suggestion without an address. Here the law stated simply, not as threat but as reality. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. One God, one power, one cause. Not fear as a god. Not symptoms as a god. Not outcomes as gods. Not timelines as gods. When you bow to any of these, you do not anger deity, you unseat your own peace. The commandment is not jealousy, it is geometry. It fits the soul to the shape of truth. I and my Father are one. In that oneness, there is no second authority to consult, no rival throne to placate. Be still and know the arithmetic of spirit. Consider the mathematics of it. 2 times 2 is 4. Always, everywhere. If you insist upon 5, does mathematics rise to punish you? No, no. The principle stands, and your sum collapses under its own error. It is the same with a traffic law. Drive on the wrong side, and you do not offend a policeman in the sky. You collide with consequence. It is the same with engineering. Violate load-bearing truth, and the bridge comes down on the head of the violator. So with divine law. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. Sow belief in multiple powers, reap the harvest of divided mind. Sow one power, reap order. I speak this without condemnation because cosmic law is impersonal. There can be no selfish purpose in a cosmic law. It does not have moods. It does not take bribes. To use it for gain over another is to stand under the falling bridge. Don't tamper with it. It is a double-edged sword. When you honor one power, the sword becomes a plowshare, and the field of your day grows wheat. When you entertain a second power, the same law turns inward and cuts the cords of your own certainty. Confusion is the fruit of divided allegiance. Order, the fruit of single-heartedness. Now link it to anxiety and see how plain it is. Anxiety lives on the oxygen of second causes. It whispers, there is a power in this symptom. There is a power in that deadline. There is a power in that person's opinion. There is a power in tomorrow. Refuse the whisper. Resist not evil does not mean submit to fear. It means withdraw your attribution of law, cause, and authority to anything unlike God. Say quietly within, there is no principle to sustain anxiety. There is no law to enforce it. There is no cause to start it. There is no power to carry it on. If you deny it place, it cannot sit. If you deny it law, it cannot act. Therefore, our practice is not to use law to fix life. No, no. We do not put God to work on our problem. We come into alignment and life reorders itself under principle. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. In minute 1, we will remove the crown from fear. In minute 2, we will wait without will for the click of union. In minute 3, we will rest the mind in the living word. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, not my fear, not my schedule. Thy grace. Peace is not manufactured. It appears by right when we honor one power. And in that honoring, the house of cards called anxiety folds of itself, leaving the clear air of God alone. Enter now to the simple, and it will be enough. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. The closet is not a room, it is the withdrawal of attention, but a room helps. Find a corner that will not tug at you. Turn off the bell, the banner, the little red dot that calls you to kneel before a second power. Set a timer for 3 minutes, only 3, and know this is before you react, before you reply, before you decide. He that believeth shall not make haste. We are not delaying life, we are consenting to the law of one, power to order it. It will be a chair low enough to let the thighs slope slightly downward. Sit so that the back is supported but not slumped. Feet flat upon the floor, grounded, not crossed, not braced. Let the spine rise as a sapling, not a spear. Hands rest in the lap where there is no strain. Never rest your arms upon the chair arms. Keep the hands and arms relaxed and without tension. Shoulders unhook themselves. Jaw unfastens. Tongue rests. Eyes closed, lightly closed, not squeezed, as if half listening to silence. There is no occult reason for it, only one of physical comfort and the removal of visual intrusion. In this position, with the eyes closed, you are virtually unaware of having a body, and that is the point, that the body need not intrude upon the realization of presence. Do not work the breath. Do not count. Do not manufacture rhythm. Let breath be as how it has been since the nursery, coming and going of its own accord. If a sensation insists, let it be a visitor without name. No, no. We will not call it mine. We will not inquire of it as of an oracle. We are withdrawing attribution, not fighting phenomena. Be still and know that I am God, not be busy and try to be God. Now the permission, the intention, the quiet covenant. I am merely the instrument. God is the actor. I do not come to fix, to bargain, to improve an image. I am not here to use God. I am here to be used of God. Not my will, but thine be done. Lay down objectives at the door like tools at the threshold of Sabbath. No goal, no script, no hurry, only receptivity. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will compose themselves under principle. Whisper once, as you would test a microphone that is already live. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then leave even the whisper and consent to silence. This is preparation, not performance. Chair, feet, hands, eyes, timer. These remove the intrusions so that receptivity can open. You are not arranging a miracle. You are arranging to be undisturbed. The true work is invisibly Godward. When the bell begins its count of 3 minutes, remember, you have already stepped out of reaction and into obedience to one power, absent from the chatter, present with the Lord. You have taken your place, and you have given permission. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. You are the instrument at rest, ready to sound when breath not yours his moves through. And that is enough. Minute 1 begins with the quietest refusal. Let everything that clamors sensation, narrative, and clock fall back a step. Do not push them away. Do not make war upon them. Simply unhook. If the chest thumps, let it thump unattended. If the mind offers a headline or a memory to rehearse, let it pass by as you would a stranger on a train. If the clock hisses, now, 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 let the hiss fade into the larger room of silence. No, not that. Not a bit. I refuse second power. We are not wrestling. We are removing a crown that was never rightfully placed. Resist not evil. Not because we agree with it, but because we deny it law. Say within, but without strain. There is no law in this fear, no cause in this symptom, no authority in this story. The commandment is the architecture of peace. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Fear is a would-be god. Symptoms are would-be gods. Stories are would-be gods. We dethrone them, not by effort, but by non-consent. 2 times 2 is 4. Nothing personal about it. If you try to make it 5, mathematics does not strike back. Your sum collapses of itself. So with this minute, as you withdraw belief, the apparition cannot hold its form. Now restore identity to its home. Where is the eye that notices the thump, the thought, the time? Not in the thump, not in the thought, not in the time. Absent from the body, present with the Lord, I am not in the physical. No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body. I am awareness witnessing, I that I am, beholding without being caught. The wave moves, the sea remains. The leaf quivers, the sap is untroubled. Let the body be a leaf, and let your knowing rest as tree. Be still, and know that I am God. Not be busy and try to be God. Knowing, not doing, is the rule of this minute. Do not count breaths. Do not leash the mind. The breath has known its task since the nursery. Let it do as it has done. The mind will slow of its own accord when fed no drama, no argument, no assignment. If a sentence forms to plead its case, meet it with mercy and the small break phrases we have been given. No, not that. Not a bit. I refuse second power. If a picture arrives, an inbox, a face, a what if, turn the face gently to the wall. He that believeth shall not make haste. We will not hurry to be saved. We will simply decline to be hypnotized. And now sit as witness only. In this first minute, you have removed belief from the rumor that something other than God has cause, law, or voice. You have withdrawn attention from the stage and quietly taken your seat in the audience of spirit. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. You are merely the instrument at rest, unused words on the tongue of peace. Perfect love casteth out fear. The casting out is the revealing that love alone is law. Hold here, nothing to fix, nothing to force. The suggestion has been refused its jurisdiction, and the field is clearing for what follows. Minute 2 is the Sabbath inside the practice. Lay down even the tools of negation and sit empty of aim. Desire nothing but God. Not relief, not a sign, not a plan. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and let all these things be added by a wisdom that is not your will, not my will, but thine be done. Be still and know that I am God, not be still and get a result. Knowing is the end and the means. In this minute, you wait as an instrument waits on the breath of the musician. You do not blow. You do not vibrate your own reed. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. You are merely the instrument consenting to be played. Hold the posture of inward listening with no request upon your lips, no petition, no bargain, no technique, only a willingness as soft as the inside of the hand turned upward. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Wait without using will until the felt click of union begins to dawn. It may come as a warmth without location, a brightness without edges, a sudden okayness that does not explain itself. It may come as the quiet loosening of the jaw, or the sense that the room has grown larger by a few silent inches. It may be no more than a feather's weight of assurance pressing upon the heart with the message, I am here, after the fire, a still small voice. Do not reach for it. Do not name it too quickly. Let it come as it comes, or let it come as nothing at all that can be noticed, only a settledness like a lake after the wind drops. If the mind tries to speak, do not hold court with it. No argument, no cross-examination. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. Let the thought finish its little speech into a silence that does not answer. If the old reflex hisses, but what about answer with stillness? If a picture lifts its hand to claim attention, look past it into the horizon of presence without words. Peace, be still. That is not a slogan. It is the nature of spirit revealing itself when nothing in you is pushing. As silt falls in a jar the moment the hand stops shaking, so the mind clears when it is not tasked to manage reality. He that believeth shall not make haste. Belief here is not opinion. It is rest. Trust that receptivity itself is obedience to law. You are honoring the first commandment by refusing second powers and refusing even to use God for personal ends. Thou shalt have no other gods before me includes the God of outcomes. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. This oneness does not need your help to be itself. It needs only your non-interference. Sit, then, in the sanctuary of this second minute until the click, subtle or sure, tells you that the instrument has been found by the musician. And if no click is felt, do not seize the strings. The law is acting because you are aligned, and alignment is enough. Minute 3 begins not with effort, but with a word that is already true. Let a single line rise and fall in you as breath rises and falls without your management. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, not to get, not to make, not to move God. My grace is sufficient for thee, says the voice, and we answer in consent, not in petition. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Do not chant it to persuade heaven. Let heaven speak it through you. Let the words say you. Let the tide carry the boat. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument resting in the hand that plays its own music. Whisper it once, then let it hum beneath thought as warmth hums beneath skin. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Feel how it removes weight from the shoulders you never were meant to carry. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. You do not push this peace. You discover that it has been pushing you all along, like rivers of living water flowing from within. The mind may try to take hold and make a technique of it. No. Let the mantra breathe you. Let the phrase arrive and subside until even the phrase thins and only grace remains. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, sufficiency is not personal property. It is presence revealing itself as enough here and everywhere. Now widen the circle, not by sending thoughts, not by managing outcomes, but by acknowledging the law as universal. In my oneness with God, I find completeness, and because oneness is indivisible, completeness reveals itself for all. In my oneness with God, I find safety, and safety is not a fence. It is the fact of one power. In my oneness with God, I find peace, peace for the child across the sea, peace for the colleague in confusion, peace even for the one who opposes me, for the law is love, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself is the same breath as thou shalt have no other gods before me. Do not restrict grace to your name. Names are many, life is one. We are not fixing them. We are not projecting upon them. We are consenting to what already is, God all in all. I and my Father are one. Let the heart bow in gratitude as the cup knows it runs over. In everything give thanks. Thank you, Father, that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Enough wisdom for the next word, enough love for the next face, enough order for the next step. Seal it softly, and so it is, not as wish, but as witness. Rise then, not to react, but to overflow. Freely ye have received, freely give. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and so it is. Now here is where the practice earns its name. At the edge, at the send button, at the raised eyebrow in the meeting, at the late night scroll that wants your nervous thumb to be your God. Identify your reaction points. Name them so they cannot ambush you. Is it the text that stings? The meeting where a silence embarrasses you? The click that promises relief? The impulse to correct, to prove, to get the last word? These are doorbells. They are not the owner. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Who told you to hurry? A suggestion did. The eye did not. Absent from the body, present with the Lord, the eye does not live in screens or clocks. It beholds them. Install a sacred delay, as impersonal as mathematics. If it can wait 3 minutes, it must wait 3 minutes. 3 minutes. He that believeth shall not make haste. This is not avoidance. This is obedience to one power. Thou shalt have no other gods before me includes the God of urgency. In those 3 minutes, you already know the path. Minute 1, gentle negation, no second cause. Minute 2, receptivity without will, waiting for the click. Minute 3, mantra, thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Then, and only then, consider action. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Let the musician lift the bow before a note is sounded. But I know there are moments when 3 minutes seems extravagant, an elevator door opening, a question pointed like a spear. Then you will use the field version, eyes open, body in motion. Return the eyes to the inner center even as they rest upon the world. Without moving a muscle, turn attention within and let the microphrases anchor you. One power, no second cause. I am the witness, not the weather. Whisper inwardly, be still, and know that I am God. 10 seconds is enough for the silt to begin to fall. 10 seconds to refuse coronation to a second power. 10 seconds to remember that you are not in the physical. You are awareness beholding. If the click comes sudden ease, a line of right words placed in your mouth, move with it. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. Let your speech be always with grace. If the click does not come, do not move. No, no. Do not make a noise to hide the silence. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Better a holy delay than an unholy dispatch. As you sow, so shall ye reap. Sow from presence, reap order. Sow from panic, reap correction letters and late apologies. Set a private watch at your thresholds. Phone, mouth, send key, calendar invite. Before you hit send, hit still. Test the air with the password that opens the kingdom. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. If grace answers, flow. If grace is silent, wait. You are not withholding love. You are refusing a second power. And when at last you act, let it be as the instrument that has felt the click and carries no residue of hurry. Then action is not reaction. It is overflow. Freely ye have received, freely give. Non-interference is not passivity. It is fidelity to one power. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The impulse to tweak, to steer, to press the scales with mental fingers is the old hypnosis of a second cause claiming the throne. No, no, refuse it. Do not try to move people with thought or hurry outcomes with visualization or coax your own body with little occult instructions. I have studiously avoided mental and physical contact. I have never put out a hand to manipulate a soul or a symptom, and I hope you will never try to do it. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. If there is music to be played, the musician will lift the bow. When agitation is in you, that is the hour to be most silent. Do not give advice to your neighbor. Do not give advice to yourself. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Advice under anxiety is the flesh counseling the flesh. I can of mine own self do nothing, said the Master. As I hear, I judge. Hear first, judge later, or not at all. If the click has not come, let the mouth keep Sabbath. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Better a holy quiet than a clever plan born of second power. Understand the danger of misuse. Law is impersonal. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you bend spiritual law to secure advantage, to win an argument, to change another's mind, you are the one who stands beneath the falling bridge. It is like violating 2 times 2 is 4. Mathematics does not punish you. You collapse your own sum. It is like seizing a live wire to light your room. The light you get is a burn. Don't tamper with the cosmic law. It is a double-edged sword. Used to dominate, it cuts the user. Used to consent, it cuts the cords of fear. They that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Lay the sword down. Let love be law. Consent, then, is our posture. Alignment, not control. Thy will be done, not whispered as resignation, but as the only safe arithmetic of life. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. When the click comes, you will know it. The next word is placed in your mouth. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. When the click does not come, you will also know it. Remain the witness, not the weather. In my oneness with God, I find order without pushing, sufficiency without grasping, peace without proof. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. We do not use spirit to force results. We become available to what God is already doing, and in that availability, the work is done of itself. Grace does not advertise itself with fireworks. It verifies itself the way a traffic law verifies itself by quiet order when it is on it. Drive within the lines, pause at the red, yield where yield is written, and you arrive. No heroics, no sirens. The city moves. He that believeth shall not make haste. It is the same with the 3-minute return. When we obey the law of one, power, anxiety, finds no statute to stand upon, and without appeal it sits down. Thou shalt have no other gods before me is not thunder, it is architecture. live within it, and the house holds. A message reached me from a young father who had a hand on the send button at midnight. The email on his screen was polished with fear, clever, sharp, ready to wound in the name of being right. He remembered the practice. Timer, chair, eyes lightly closed. Minute 1, no second cause. He withdrew the crown from the story. That injury had authority. Minute 2, he waited with nothing to gain and nothing to prove. He wrote, in the second minute, something in my chest let go and the room seemed wider. I think that is what you call the click. Minute 3, thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. He did not send. In the morning there was a note from the colleague. I couldn't sleep. I was wrong to press you. Order, without heroics, not a trophy, a byproduct of honoring law. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. He was merely the instrument withheld from noise until the musician spoke. A letter came from a woman who commutes by train. I have known panic in tunnels, she wrote. One evening the car halted between stations, lights dimmed, faces tightened. She felt the old surge. She remembered the field version. Without moving a muscle, she turned attention to the inner center. One power, no second cause. Be still and know that I am God. I felt nothing dramatic, only that I was not in the car but aware of the car, absent from the body, present with the Lord. The click was small, like a gentle hand on the shoulder. She found herself noticing an elderly woman swaying. She offered a steadying palm and a smile born of no effort. In minutes the train rolled. She wrote, I used to measure salvation by speed. That night I knew it by stillness, not striving, waiting. Relief arrived at the moment of obedience. In a boardroom, a manager described a slide deck freezing on the screen just as the question of the quarter was asked. Palms wet, heartbeat loud. 10 seconds only, for the room was watching. One power, he said, within, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. The words came plain and unhurried, not clever, simply enough. The room breathed again, and the conversation moved to cooperation. He did not win. He did not lose. He witnessed. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. In that oneness, the meeting had no rival power to fear. Now, become your own witness, not to count feathers in your cap, but to train remembrance. Keep a small page at hand. After the practice, after the text not sent, the pause at the threshold, the breath that found you noted in 3 lines, where was I? Was there a click? What followed? Write the vision and make it plain. Over a week, over a month, a pattern writes itself. Quiet before order, waiting before word, rest before right action. You are not collecting miracles. You are recording fidelity to law so the mind can learn to trust what spirit already knows. Treat effects as shadows of the real. Do not make them gods. No, no. Trophies are other altars, and we have only one. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and these things, emails mended, meetings ordered, trains moving, are added unto you. We do not use spirit to decorate the self. We consent to be instruments through whom law is seen as love. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Say it once, and then let the life that follows verify it quietly. Like green returning to a field when rain keeps the cosmic traffic law of season, and in everything give thanks. The law that steadies you in the chair must steady you in the crush, for law does not change with weather. Under pressure, return to the 2 commands that are not counsel but covenant. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is no peace apart from these. Anxiety is the fever that rises when either is broken. The moment you grant power to a second cause, a market, a manager, a diagnosis, you have knelt to another God and signed for the package, fear delivers. The moment you compete with your neighbor for place, for proof, for praise, you have divided what God has made one and invited conflict into your own house. You cannot violate a cosmic law without the consequence appearing in your own field. It is like 2 times 2 is 4. When you try to make it 5, mathematics does not punish you. You collapse your own sum. Competition is the tinder anxiety loves. It whispers, get there first, speak louder, gather more, defend, prove. And you feel the heat in the chest because you are rubbing yourself against your brother and against life as if supply was scarce and God were absent. No, no. When I want nothing you have, and you want nothing that I have, then there is no possibility of a war. In my oneness with God, I find sufficiency. Therefore, I do not need to take. In my oneness with God, I find security. Therefore, I do not need to defend. In my oneness with God, I find identity. Therefore, I do not need to prove. All that the Father hath is mine, said the Master, and that is not a boast. It is an end to rivalry. Absent from the body, present with the Lord, we stand in a country where there is only one power. There is nothing to push against. Translate love into practice in the very moment of pressure. Who pierced you? Bless them. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. Pray for them which despitefully use you. Not with psychology, not with mental fingers pushing their levers. Withdraw interference. Refuse to picture outcomes for them or to try to warm their heart with your thought. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. You are merely the instrument consenting to love's law. In the first minute, remove crown and scepter from their behavior. No second cause there. In the second, wait without will until the click or the simple quiet assures you that union, not opinion, is real. In the third, let the mantra overflow, not aimed, simply allowed. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Let that grace include the one who triggered you as light, includes every face in the room without favoritism. No, this is universal law, not a sectarian rule. The golden rule has walked the earth in many tongues long before our names were spoken, because it is principle, not preference. As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Violate it, and you inherit the turbulence you sent. Honor it, and order arrives as quietly as a city kept by traffic law. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Perfect love casteth out fear. Loving obedience to one God ends the inner war that anxiety wages. For love makes no room for rivals. Stand still in that obedience. Want nothing that belongs to another. Give thanks that nothing essential can be taken or withheld in a universe of one power. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and where sufficiency is realized, competition starves, fear falls, and peace takes its rightful seat. Rhythm is mercy. Do not wait for storm to learn your harbor. Establish simple returns that make receptivity a native place rather than a tourist stop. Choose fixed hours on the hour or at morning, midday, evening, and let 3 minutes become the bell that gathers you home. Use any clock you please, but let the bell rule gently as a traffic law rules a city, not with drama, with order. He that believeth shall not make haste. At the bell, you know the way. Minute 1, gentle negation. Minute 2, receptivity without will. Minute 3, mantra. Not as penance, as alignment. Pray without ceasing is not chatter. It is recurring consent. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. You are merely the instrument kept tuned by repetition. Begin and end each day with a password that opens the door. Before you look at a screen, before you check the weather of men's opinions, Sit even on the bedside, and let a single line awaken the house of consciousness. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Start there, not with headlines. In the evening, return the day to its giver. Let the last word before sleep be the same word that kept you. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. You are not winding a charm. You are consenting to fact. Keep the body unintrusive, that it does not crowd the sanctuary. Choose a chair that allows ease. Rest the hands softly. Close the eyes lightly, not for occult reason, but to remove distraction. Breathe as it breathes, do not leash it. When you intend longer receptivity, be modest with meals. Heavy plates pull attention to the cellar. Simplicity keeps the room of awareness unstuffed. I give no human diet, nor would I. I counsel only what Daniel knew when he refused the king's rich table. Sobriety serves vision. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Set sober boundaries at the gates of sight and sound. Do not enthrone headlines as gods. Thou shalt have no other gods before me includes the God of crisis lust. Choose windows for news. Do not let news choose you. Silence notifications in your sanctuary hours. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips and keep the door of your eyes and ears. No, no, we will not let the marketplace blow our curtains at dawn. Hold a shared rhythm without interference. Invite a friend, two friends, or a circle to keep the same hours. At the bell, you each turn within where you are. No advice, no reports required, only consent to grace. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Do not project upon one another. I never give human advice, and I hope you will never try to do it. Let your companionship be a mutual remembrance of one power. If you speak at week's end, let it be gratitude, not measurement, witness, not management. These are not shackles, they are rails for a train that wishes to arrive. Establish them, and you will discover that in the hour of pressure you are already home, because home has been visited every day. Absent from the body, present with the Lord becomes not a crisis maneuver, but your address. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, readiness is not strain, but familiarity. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, morning, noon, and night. And because it is, when the bell of need rings, you are found already listening. Beloved, be at rest now in what is already true. The I you are is not the weather of the nerves, not the tremor of a story, not a moving target in a world of moving targets. I and my Father are one. Hear it as fact, not as reach. I am not in the physical. No surgeon has ever yet found any me inside of a body, absent from the body, present with the Lord. The I is Spirit's own awareness of itself, and that is where you abide. The hand may still type, the feet may still walk, but identity is not in fingers or in shoes. It is in God, of God, as God's own self-revealing. For in Him we live and move and have our being. Let the word that has carried us return you to silence now like a tide returning to its moon. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Whisper it once, and then let it become the quiet under every other quiet. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Not to make it so, but to notice it so. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Let the phrase thin into presence until only presence remains, until even the breath seems breathed for you. God is the actor and the doer and the beer. I am merely the instrument. Here the instrument rests in the hand that never sleeps nor slumbers. Now hear the litany by which soul remembers its country. In my oneness with God, I find completeness, nothing missing, nothing extra, the exactness of being loved. In my oneness with God, I find security. Not gates and guards, but the fact of one power everywhere present. In my oneness with God, I find peace, the end of rivalry, the stillness that does not need proof. In my oneness with God, I find joy, not excitement, but light that laughs without noise. In my oneness with God, I find fulfillment. The work prepared from the foundation of the world, meeting me as I consent. My conscious oneness with God constitutes my oneness with all spiritual being and idea. Therefore, what blesses me belongs to no me. Alone grace is indivisible. Carry this seal into your hours by simple fidelity. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. When the door seems closed, do not kick. Knock and wait. Wait for the click, then move. He that believeth shall not make haste. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And when the word is needed, you will find it given. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. Action emerges from presence as fruit emerges from root, without strain, without second causes. So we release all doing now into gratitude. And so it is. And I thank you. Thank you that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always. Thank you that thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. Thank you that the I you know me to be cannot be frightened out of oneness. Seal this knowing upon the heart, not as a mood, but as law. I and my Father are one, thy will be done. Thy grace is my sufficiency in all things, and so it is, and I thank you.